Welcome to Patagonia! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brittany from She Run the World Travel Blog, and today I'm going to be giving you a day-by-day itinerary for the Argentinian side of Patagonia. In my last video, I talked a lot about things you should know before you go there. Money, how to book stuff, what you should be booking, things that there are to do, all of that kind of stuff that really helps you in your planning process. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I highly recommend watching that one before I dive into this detailed day-by-day itinerary so you kind of know what I'm talking about. For those of you who already have watched that video, let's go ahead and dive in. So I do have a 7-day itinerary here, and this again is just 7 full days within Patagonia. So I know that it takes more time to come from the US or Europe or wherever you may be, go to Buenos Aires and then get to Patagonia, so just keep that in mind. At the end I will do a condensed version if you only have a few days to specifically spend in Patagonia. So starting off with day 1, you're going to arrive in the El Calafate airport from Buenos Aires. I highly recommend you hop on the earliest flight of the day, which is 4:40 a.m. so you can get to El Calafate around 7:30, 7:40. That way you can hop on the very first bus directly from the airport to El Chalten. It leaves at 8 a.m. from El Calafate city center, so by the time it gets to the airport it's about 8:20, 8:30, so you don't have to wait too long for it in the airport. But you can hop directly on there around 8:30. And it's a 3-hour bus ride directly to El Chalten. So you'll get there around 11 to 11:30, which gives you plenty of time to do a hike straight from there. You know, drop off your bags, maybe grab a bite to eat, but then hop on the trails right away. You don't want to miss a day of hiking. The bus, before they even get to El Chalten Center, they'll stop at the information center and they will go through a little talk for you. There's one side in Spanish, one side in English, recommending hikes, especially, you know, in general, but especially for the days to come based on the weather. And then they'll give you one of these, which is super awesome. It's just a trail map that, you know, lays everything out for you. So the 2 main hikes to do in El Chalten are this orange hike that you see to Laguna Torres and the purple hike to Laguna de los Tres, where you can see the Fitz peaks. Most people don't go all the way to the end because the ending part is pretty brutal, but you can stop anywhere along, you know, the way on the purple trail. So based off what the weather is like and what he or she says at the information center, I would choose one of those 2 trails to do that first day that you get there. Personally, we did this, you know, we got off the bus at around 11:30 and hopped right on the purple trail to Fitzroy, and we stopped around Pointsnot. It took us about 5.5 to 6 hours, so we still had plenty of time to come home, relax, grab dinner, everything after that. It didn't feel too rushed. And then you'll go to bed, you'll wake up, day 2, you're still in El Chalten, and then you'll do the other hike that you didn't do. So if you did the purple one, Fitzroy, today you do the orange one, Laguna Torres, or vice versa. Laguna del Torre, the orange one, is slightly shorter in time. It's a little bit longer in distance, but it's flatter, so that's why, you know, it only takes about 5 hours round trip versus 6. And I will say it was a lot easier than the purple one. So just keep that in mind. I think it's nicer to just get the hardest one out of the way first, and then the next day it's a little bit more relaxing, a little bit shorter. You have more time to kind of chill in the town afterwards. After your hike on day 2, not really anything to do, you know, just enjoy the town, grab a bite to eat, rest up, and get ready for day 3. So day 3 is kind of a flex day, so it kind of just depends on what you want to do. Option 1, you can wake up early, you know, hit another hike in El Chalten Park before you take your bus ride back to El Calafate. There are so many departures throughout the day, so it kind of just depends. If you want to wake up early, you can hit a bus departure at like 12:30 or 1. If you want to kind of chill, just enjoy the morning, maybe even not even go on a hike, you can take one of the later departures at 6 or 7:30. The main thing on your to-do list today is just get back to El Calafate and make sure that you book something to go to Perito Moreno Glacier for the next day on day 4. Day 4, you wake up and now it's your Perito Moreno Glacier day. So it kind of depends on what you picked. If you opted for the cheaper option, which is just to go to the glacier and walk around on the boardwalks, you'll be picked up around 9 a.m. and come back at 5 p.m. So it's still like a full day of you just getting there, walking around on the boardwalks, and then coming back. If you opted for the mini trek or even one of the longer glacier treks, I'm not sure how early they pick you up. I think it is a bit of a longer day, like between 9, 10, 11 hours. But either way, this entire day you're spending at the glacier, getting amazing photos, having a great experience. After your long day at the glacier, you want to make sure to head back into town and book your transportation for day 5, which is going to Torres del Paine National Park. And that's what you'll wake up and do on day 5. So you'll wake up, you'll head over to the bus station, and you'll catch your bus to Torres del Paine National Park. It takes about a 6-hour drive. Plus, keep in mind that you do have to hop off the bus and go through both Argentinian and Chilean customs and immigration. So that adds a little bit of time as well. So today is just a travel day getting from the Argentinian side of Patagonia over to the Chilean side. I will put a little bit of a disclaimer here. This is not something that I did during my time just because we didn't have enough time to do this, so we decided to just stay on the Argentinian side. But I do have a few friends, you know, from back home and also friends that I met on the Argentinian side of Patagonia that did both of them. And obviously, if you have the time, highly recommend doing it. Their photos were absolutely incredible. So if you have the full 7 days, you can spend the last 3 in Torres del Paine National Park. Once you get there on day 5, obviously, you know, you're just checking into your hotel, putting all of your stuff down, having a good night's rest. Then you're gonna wake up on day 6 and do the 7-hour challenging hike to Mirador Las Torres. This is by far the most popular trail in the park, and it's probably the iconic image you always see of this national park in general. So it's definitely the hike that you cannot miss if you're making the effort to go all the way over to the Chilean side. On day 7, you're gonna wake up early, do a shorter hike. Again, I didn't go to this park, so I'm not exactly sure, but I know that you can, you know, pick up another one of these from the information center, talk to one of the, you know, local park rangers and get some recommendations for a shorter, you know, not as challenging hike since you just did a super challenging hike the day before. And then in the afternoon, you're gonna make your way back to the airport. So obviously this depends on what your next travel plans are, but if you're flying out of the Chilean side, it's gonna be a 4-hour drive to Punta Arenas. If you're flying back to Buenos Aires, maybe you had a round trip flight from the US to Buenos Aires, it's gonna be a 5 to 6 hour drive back to El Calafate. Then you'll hop on your flight from El Calafate to Buenos Aires and fly back home. So there's the full 7-day itinerary that breaks it down to 2 to 3-ish days in El Chalten, 2 days in El Calafate, and 3 days in Torres del Paine National Park. Of course, if you have more time, spend more time. There's an infinite amount of hikes that you can do, but you know, not that many people are able to have just 1 to 2 weeks to spend just in the national park without all of the other things that they want to see in Argentina or Chile. If you have even less time to spend just within Patagonia, I'm going to give you a condensed version so that way you at least get to see all the highlights and don't really feel like you missed anything. So I'm going to give you a 3-day and a 4-day option. So for the 3-day, on day 1, right when you arrive in El Calafate airport, instead of booking the bus to El Chalten like I recommended for the longer day, you're going to automatically book your Perito Moreno Glacier. So the tour company will come and pick you up from the airport, and at 9 a.m. you'll go straight to the glacier for the entire day. And then after the glacier, which you'll be done around 5 p.m., you'll hop on a 6 p.m. bus to El Chalten. So again, they are going to be jam-packed days, but you'll see everything within these 3 days. So day 1, Perito Moreno Glacier, straight from the airport, and then hop on the night bus to El Chalten. Day 2, you're in El Chalten, you do the purple hike to Fitz. Again, it's going to take about 6 hours round trip. And day 3, you wake up super early around, you know, 6 a.m., do the orange hike to Laguna Torre. That'll take about 5 to 6 hours, and then you can hop back on the 1 p.m. bus to El Calafate. The bus, if you want to, it will drop you off directly at the airport. You don't have to go back into the city center. So if you take the 1 p.m. bus and get dropped off at the airport, you'll be at the airport around 4 to 4:30. Every single day they have a flight from at 6:15 to Buenos Aires. So it's a jam-packed 3 days, but you get to see the main highlights: the Perito Moreno Glacier, the hike to Fitzroy, and the hike to Laguna Torre. If you really want to do the Torres del Paine Chilean side, you would need to add a 4th day, and the only thing that I would recommend doing there is shifting the days a little bit. So day 1, you still arrive in El Calafate and you do the Perito Moreno Glacier hike and you stay the night in El Calafate. Day 2, you do the 14-hour day trip tour from El Calafate to Torres del Paine National Park. Again, very long day, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And then on day 3, you would wake up early and take the bus to El Chalten to do the Fitzroy hike. Day 4, exactly like I described before. You wake up early, you do the orange hike to Laguna del Torres, hop on the 1 p.m. bus back to the airport, and hop on the 6:15 flight back to Buenos Aires. So there you have it. You have a 7-day option if you have all the time in the world to see, you know, all 3 areas: El Calafate, El Chalten, and Torres del Paine National Park on both Argentinian and Chilean side. If you have a time crunch, I gave you a 3 and a 4-day option with Chile or without Chile. But just to give you guys a heads up, you know, the entire area is just so stunning. Even the bus ride from El Calafate to El Chalten, you know, it's very deserty, but you can see all of the snowy mountains in the distance. You see all the guanacos, which are like the llamas, running around. It's just stunning. So no matter what you do, you're gonna enjoy your time there. You're gonna see beautiful things, so don't stress about it too much. If you guys have any questions about planning your trip, your itinerary, you know, money, any questions like that, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'd love to help you guys out and have a fabulous trip to the Argentinian or Chilean side of Patagonia. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. It really helps me out, encourages me to make more videos like this to help people plan their travels. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.